Good morning, everyone. My name is Halana Black. This is your Wednesday AM meditative writing, mindful writing circle. Forgot that I changed the name. It's the Wednesday AM mindful writing circle. And we are a group of mindful writers who are looking to build a creative wellness habit first thing in the morning. So our goal is to live a life worth writing about. And I created the circle so that we can do several things. Number one, we can enhance our writing practice through self-awareness. We get to nurture our creativity through healthy habits. And we get to create life experiences that are meaningful to us. And so today we are talking about journal writing habits that are built for adults. I think a lot of us just sort of carry over our journal writing habits from whatever we did when we were a kid, if we did it all. And we sort of write stuff that is like, I used to write stuff where I felt like I had to write to God on purpose, which is fine. You can certainly do that. But I didn't really try to have an understanding of what that meant. I just sort of felt like, if they were my private thoughts, then they must be, if I write them down, then the only person or, the person that can see it was God. And so I have grown out of that. Or some people just sort of like we write like we're just having a conversation with a friend or with ourselves. Which is also fine. You can do that. There's no wrong or right way to be able to journal. But I just wanted to bring some other ways to be able to journal today, so that we will have an understanding of other types of journaling that can benefit us. Let's see, Miss Jamila, I see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're talking about mindful journaling technique. So the first one I wanted to talk about today was dream journaling. I actually don't do dream journaling all the time. I'll do it when I'm feeling more introspective. So what dream journaling is really just sitting down and journaling. You journal your dreams. Sometimes I'll have portions of my life where I will wake up consistently at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. A lot of times people say I consistently wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't go back to sleep. This is actually a really good time to journal if you can remember to do it. A lot of times people, they just sort of, they sort of sit up in a panic, or they'll sit up until it sort of passes. And you can actually use this time to be able to record what it is that you dreamed about or the messages that were coming to you. So what you can do is you can just sort of leave your journal by the bed with a pen, leave it open. So you don't have to do a whole lot of fumbling around when you do wake up at that time. Um, and what you can do is you can just sort of take note of everything that you remember before you actually forget. What's really key here is that you want to sort of stay in the lucid state of dreaming as much as possible. A lot of times when we start to dream, or not when we start to dream, when we start to journal in other parts of our lives, we do too much thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to sit down and, get into your right space of mind. For some people, they might want to do a meditation first. You don't want to do any of that when you're doing dream journaling. You just want to be able to grab the pen, sort of stay in like to stay in a lucid state means to be as much as possible in that state between sleep and being awake, where you're before your brain starts to rationalize where you are and all that stuff. And just start writing stuff. It doesn't have to make sense. Don't make any sense of what it is that you're writing. Just write down whatever makes sense. You may then not even write that much. It might be a few lines. It might be a few words, phrases. It might be something that you saw, someone that you spoke to. It might be a feeling that you had while you were in the dream. I know sometimes I'll have dreams where I feel like I'll get visits from my mother. I never see her face in my dreams. Like there's never a body. Like there's just a feeling that I have that her presence was in the dream. And so
Mm-hmm.
I write down what that feels like. And that just sort of helps me to find patterns in what's going on in my own thinking. At that particular time, there might be a message that I might need to be able to get or understand at that time. And I just find it a really cool way to be able um, to sort of, I guess, communicate with the spirit world in a way that, um, in a way, I guess I wouldn't be able to get any other way. And so, but you have to be of a certain, I don't know. I don't want to say of a certain character, but it's not, a lot of people don't accept that as a way to be able to journal. Um, so dream journaling, I think, is a nice way to be able to add to your journaling practice, to, I guess, deepen your journaling practice, to find a more mindful way for you to be able to practice, to be able to use it as a way to help you to be more um, aware of what it is you're thinking and what it is you're feeling, as opposed to just writing stuff and putting away and never thinking about it again. So I don't know, does anyone else do any sort of dream journaling or maybe something similar to that?
I've had the intention to. I keep forgetting to bring my journal to bed. My intention is to journal what I dreamt about, but I haven't been able to do it consistently.
It's sometimes like if you keep it in the bed and leave it open with the pen open, like ready to, ready to go. Like sometimes I don't even cut the light on. I just write stuff. Like don't even worry about being in the lines. Like there's too much thinking when you're doing dream journaling. When you wake up, just write it down. Just write the stuff down. It doesn't have to be long because really by the time you get up, you make a trip to the bathroom and come back, you probably forgot what it is that you dreamed about anyway. So you got to make a space that's ready. Let's see. Another way that I like to be able to journal is morning pages, and that's really my favorite kind. And this is not new. This is not new stuff that I'm talking about here. But morning pages was talked about by a lady named Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way.
Mhm.
And what she did was, I don't even know if she created it, but she certainly popularized it. What she does was she sat down, told us to get up
Mm-hmm.
in the morning when we just write down three pages of stream of consciousness writing. Doesn't have to make any sense to what it is that you're doing. It doesn't have to follow any sort of a format. You just get yourself a blank journal. Some people like to get a smaller journal because writing 3 pages is too much. And it has to be 3 pages. If you want to make your print bigger, make your print bigger. Some people say, oh, this, it takes too much time. It takes 30 minutes to be able to write 3 pages of journaling. But it doesn't have to make any sort of sense. That's sort of what stream of consciousness is. You just sort of write whatever makes sense to you at that particular time. Um, and what I have found of doing morning pages over time is that it sort of gets rid of the chatter in your head first thing in the morning. So if you ever have problems with like starting projects or following through on projects, it's often because we have a lot of stuff going on in the back, in the, in the back of our brains that's taking up a lot of space. And writing the 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing just sort of gets rid of that. It gets rid of that early chatter first thing in the morning. So that as soon as that is done, over time, you start to remember, oh, I have this project that I always wanted to do, and I can focus on that. Julia Cameron actually works and still works. I don't know how old she is, but she's a lot, she's an older woman. And she still works with a lot of people who are artists, people who have, creative projects that they want to be able to do. A lot of writers. I think she's worked with actors in the past. She's worked a lot in the creative field and directing movies. I don't really think she's worked on a lot of stuff that we've ever seen, but like a lot of art projects she has worked on. And so since she's in that creative world, she likes to be able to find ways to be able to support artists all the time. And so morning pages is one of the first things that she always teaches. Um, and so I don't know, has
Mhm.
anyone ever tried morning pages? I've done morning pages. I actually did it as part of a program that a coaching training that I did. And so for 3 straight months, I did morning pages almost every day. Um,
Yeah.
you've done it?
Yeah, I've been doing them for like 4 years.
Oh, nice.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah, I've been doing this for like 4 years, and I haven't. I don't think I've really created. Well, I haven't done anything, produced anything big creatively.
Hmm.
I guess that's a matter of perception, but it has given me clarity, and it helped me like dump a lot of stuff. I really feel like a change in my person
Hmm.
since incorporating morning pages into my life. It's like a spiritual practice for me.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I do. Yeah.
And so you've been doing it for 4 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
clearly you find value in it if you've been doing it for 4 years. And a lot of these things are really just to be able to help us to process what it is that we're going through. And so when you say that you notice a changing in your person, it's journaling in any of its forms is to be able to help us process what it is that's going on in our brains. Sometimes I hear people
Hmm.
talk about journaling, and then they talk about it like it's some sort of a childish act that a lot of
Yeah.
us.
Well, back in the day when I was
Mhm.
growing up, it was like you had some people had diaries
Mhm.
with you know, with little locks on them and
Yeah.
stuff. That's how it was. That's how it was back in the day. So that may be the reason why some people feel like it's a childish thing.
Mhm.
Because I certainly, you know, I never had like a journal or anything until I was well into adulthood. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
I just didn't think of doing stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's I
Mhm.
think it's a nice practice to be able to keep. I don't necessarily go back and read the stuff that I write, but just the act of
Me either.
yeah, just the act of being able to sit down and write the stuff is
Hmm.
cathartic in and of itself. So
Hmm.
I have, I don't have every journal that I've ever written, but I know that there were some that I felt like there were certain journals that I have just because I'm a traveler, I can't keep everything. And so there's a couple of journals that I keep that I felt like I wrote some things that were pretty significant periods of change
Hmm.
in my life. And so I've held on to those. And I still haven't gone back to read any of those things. And I guess I will
Hmm.
at some point. when I decide I want to sit down and write a memoir of my travels. But at the moment, I really don't. I really don't. So let's see, it's 7:18. I wanted to talk about the last one, which is actually new for me. It's called visual journaling. And visual journaling is really just taking a blank notebook, and instead of writing, well, you can write words if you want to, but it's more so based on writing things or drawing things out in a way that feels cathartic to you. So here's some of the stuff that I had done. I got interested in doing faces. This is probably the first one that I did, which is why it looks so weird. I was trying to do faces. And so what I would do, you can do it first thing in the morning if you want, but I more so do this when I go out. I go out a lot by myself. And so I would look at people's faces and I would start to draw them, or, if I remember what they look like, I would sort of draw what I see. And then, just sort of randomly in a sketchbook, just sort of draw
Nice.
stuff. And with each day that I would do it, I would notice that, the faces would get a little better. You start to learn how to do different types of faces. You start to get better at doing detail.
Wow. Mm.
So it's not, the point of doing visual journaling is not necessarily to become good at, to draw good things. This is from when I was in the view from my balcony in Rwanda. I really missed that apartment so bad. I had the most gorgeous view of a sunset over green hills. That was just like, it was just massive. It was just miles and miles of green hills that I could see. And sometimes I would sit outside on the balcony, and I was so high up that, you can, like the clouds would actually go through where I was sitting at. Like you were literally just sitting in the cloud.
Wow.
It was such a beautiful place to be. Rwanda is such a beautiful country. But other ways that I would do it, let me see. Where's another one? I have had times where I was doing like a citrus fast or a fruit fast. And so I would draw some of the fruit. So this is like,
Mm.
citrus stuff that I was drawing. So it's just another way for you to be able to pay attention. This is some limes that I was looking at the time.
Like that.
It's not necessarily meant for it to be good or for you to be an artist. It's just another way of being able to express yourself. If there's ever a time when you don't really have words to be able to share, but you just want to be mindful of what it is that's going on around you, of what it is that's important to you. I actually want to learn how to do the fruit better. Because I feel like we have such a connection. It might sound weird to people who don't really care about food or fruit, but I feel like we have such a connection to fruit. And when you sit down and you eat a lot of fruit in the morning, or if you're doing like a fruit fast, or there's times when you're just eating an extended period of fruit, you feel like fruit almost like it almost feels electric to you, and you touch fruit and vegetables, and you touch them, and it just feels like there's an energy in the fruit that sort of feeds you, and you feel so connected to it and the world and to earth. And so I wanted to do like a series of sketches or drawings or paintings on the different types of fruits that I eat, just to be able to pay attention to what they look like, what does it taste like in color, and all sorts of other things like that. So those are just different ways to be able to journal. That
Awesome.
I think are a little bit more advanced than what people normally do. You can take one aspect of it if you want to, and just sort of do that for an extended time, or you can just sort of take it and, whatever you feel like doing that morning, you can, or any sort of, at any point during the day, you can just sort of take that and do what you want with it. But yeah, those are just different ways that I find are useful to be able to expand your mindfulness practice in a way
Mhm.
that will help you to um, expand your consciousness, hopefully. And so now we can go ahead and do our meditation practice. We'll do that for a few minutes. Let's see, it's 7:25 where I am. So we'll stop the video, as I like to do when we do the video. And what I like to do is just be able to sit down and make sure that we're in a calm space where we have the bottom of our feet flat on the floor, if you like. If you'd like to cross your legs, that's also fine where you're sitting. And some people like to be able just sort of, some people like to be able to lay down. You can lie flat on your back, but still in a space of being alert. Um, you want to relax your shoulders a bit, relax your neck. Relax your neck. You can place your hands on your knees. You can also place your palms in an upward facing position, facing up in a receiving position, if that is more comfortable for you. And you just want to be able to find your comfortable sitting. Take your time with finding your comfortable sitting when you do a meditation. I also like to be able to take my glasses off of my eyes. That way I don't have to focus on visually seeing anything. I like to be able to close my eyes completely, but for others who may feel like closing their eyes is not safe for them, you can just sort of ease your gaze a little bit. You sort of almost close them, but not completely, if that feels more comfortable for you. And you can just sort of find your breath. Where is your breath right now? I like to put my right hand over my heart just to sort of get in touch with my heartbeat. And just sort of breathing normally. And just remembering where you are in your space. You should notice that your heartbeat starts to slow down or relax a bit as you're sitting intentionally. And you're just focusing your mind on what it is that you're doing in your natural breathing. And as you're doing your natural breathing, you are noticing that your shoulders should still just sort of be relaxing on their own. They're becoming heavy. Your shoulders and your arms. And so we're still holding on to our posture here. We keep a straight spine, but not so straight that we feel uncomfortable. And what we can do here is we can do a bit of a grounding exercise while we're in this quiet, calm space. And if your feet are flat on the floor, if you can sort of imagine a set of roots coming out from the bottom of your feet. I want you to literally visualize roots coming from the bottom of your feet, just like a tree. The roots are growing and they break through the core or the crust of the earth, and they keep going down into the earth, breaking through different layers of sediment. Still breathing normally. And if you can imagine their roots, just like a tree, sort of moving on down through to the core of the earth. This helps to ground you, help you to feel more connected to the planet. To help you feel more rooted in the present moment. The deeper the roots go, the straighter your spine becomes. But still in a very comfortable position. Ensure that your shoulders continue to relax. The muscles in your face continue to relax. Notice any sort of natural movements that your body does. For me, my body does sort of a natural rocking back and forth. Take a moment to notice if there's anything that you should pay attention to in your body. Where in your body do you feel relaxed? Are there any points of tension anywhere that you need to pay attention to? And the way I like to close out my meditations at times is to create sort of a golden light around us. If you can imagine a golden light just sort of that emanates from the center of your body, that comes up through the chest, the neck, the head, and it sort of sprouts on both sides, on the right and left of your body, this orange, yellow, golden light, and it sort of comes around in a circle. And it meets you down at the bottom of your feet, closing you completely. And this golden energy of pure golden light that stays with you throughout the day. And you can return back to the space whenever you're feeling unsafe or ungrounded, or you just need a moment of relaxing. You get to remember this as your own personal space of safety and love and support. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you'd like to, you can turn your video back on. Miss Carolyn, good morning. So that one was a little bit longer than usual. I think I wanted to do longer meditations just to be able to offer people space to be able to experience a longer meditation if they wanted to be able to do that.
Felt really good. Definitely something I needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to be able to start the morning with meditation and reflection of some sort in your journaling practice. And so today, let's see. For our journaling practice, this is 7:37. For our journaling practice for today, it's a short exercise. I wanted us to start with writing down our favorite mantra and affirmation, your favorite word for the day, or your word, whatever word is leading you for the year. Whatever you would like to be able to write. Just write that down.
Okay.
And as you write that down, I want you to not really think hard about it, but just sort of draw a visual representation of that particular of whatever you wrote down, your word, your mantra, your affirmation. Don't think too hard about it.
Okay.
Just write down. So you're writing down your word, your affirmation, your mantra, and then you're going to draw a visual representation of it. So we'll give ourselves another 3 minutes to give us the visual representation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the point isn't really to create anything that's finished or quote unquote good. It's just another way to be able to exercise our creativity and putting a visual element to the words that come to our brain. It's another way to expand our creativity in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we're forced to do a lot of things that we don't want to do or we don't like to do in order to be able to survive in life. And so another way to be able to flip that around so that you don't feel so resentful of having to get up early in the morning to go live. I think it's a great way to be able to flip that around is to start with your own creativity first thing in the morning. You do things to be able to feed yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of take that happy energy with you throughout the day, and you yourself will benefit as well as all the other people around you will benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you'd like, you can share what you've done. You probably, I don't know if you can even see it, but it says,
That's gorgeous.
mine says
That's
opportunity is around every corner.
mm.
And guess what I did was, I was looking at maps lately. And so I just sort of
Mm.
drew like a map of corners of, street corners.
Yeah,
Opportunity is around every corner.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mine is symbolic of what I'm experiencing today because I'm
Mhm.
presenting at Mega Evers. You see, I'm sitting in their
Oh,
cafeteria
nice.
already.
Uh-huh.
So mine, I don't know if you could see it, is love, money, and joy.
Mhm.
And my affirmation is I vibrate at the frequency of my highest good.
Mhm.
And my mantra is a favorite of mine from Louise Hay. I taught it to my seniors. I expect the very best in life and I allow myself to receive it now. So
Awesome.
that's what I'm feeling this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We were
Mm-hmm.
talking about different ways of journaling. And so one of the ways that we talked about, the last one we talked about was visual journaling.
Yes.
So when you don't feel like you have words to put to your experience and you just want to do it visually, you can just draw pictures, you can doodle, and that's another way for you to be able to journal. You don't always have to write a thesis if you choose not to. You'll
And
find
it's
that,
fun.
yeah, it sort of works a different part of your brain
Mm-hmm.
uh, first thing in the morning, I think. Um, so I don't know if other people want to show it, you don't have to if you don't choose not to. But what I really wanted people to reflect on is the mental process with the drawing. Does that feel easy or hard
Mm-hmm.
for you? And for at least for myself, now I can do it easily. But when I actually started to do this process at the beginning of the pandemic, when we had nothing but time on our hands, I wanted to find another way to be able to express myself through drawing. And I'd always wanted to draw and paint and other things like that. And so when we were in the house, I was living in Vietnam at the time,
Mm.
and I was in the house. We were on lockdown for 6 weeks. at two separate occasions. And like when they said that you were on lockdown, you were on lockdown. There was no going outside.
Mm.
And so, I live alone. And so I was really just looking at myself. And so I started to pay attention to the conversations that I was having more with myself and when I wanted to learn something new. And so when I started to draw, everything from me as a kid of trying to be creative started to come up for me. And so I started to hear, oh, you can't draw, you're not good at this. More so that you're not good at this, not even so much that you're creative. And I started to realize that I use that phrase a lot in a lot of the things that I want to learn or the things that I want to do. You're not good at this. This is not for you. You shouldn't be doing this. This is not your lane. You can't, you're too old to try something new. This is childish. And so I had to learn how to talk to myself in a more, I guess, a more positive manner, because that was a self-talk that wasn't working for me. I started to learn over time. It took me a couple of years to be able to to figure that out. But I call that was my big pandemic lesson, to be able to speak kinder to myself. So because the way that I was speaking to myself was not allowing me to expand into the person that I need to be be able to do to do this, to be able to do other things that I wanted to be able to do in my life. So I don't know, does anyone else want to be able to share what their thoughts were when doing the drawings? Or I can't hear you, Miss Jamila.
Okay. When you said, favorite mantra, I was like, wow, I don't know if I really have one. Um, but then what came up for me was be here now. I do like to reflect on those words
Mhm,
because I tend to mull over past experiences a lot,
mhm,
in my head. So that's what came up for me to be here now. Then when you said draw it, I was like, how am I going to do that? So only thing I just came up with I don't know if you can see it, circle with a dot
mhm.
in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's my be here now.
Mhm,
So um, I can use that as a point of focus to
mhm,
bring me back when I start drifting off into shoulda, coulda, woulda,
mhm.
those type of thoughts in my mind. And just remember to be here now. It's something that I've been working with for a very long time. It's all about now. It's
Yeah.
not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's the now. So
Mhm,
I may spend some time chanting that today. Be here now.
mhm.
Just do a holla on be here now. So
Yeah, and that makes your drawing
appreciate
makes total sense
you
to be
share.
able to demonstrate focus,
Yes, yes. Mhm.
to be where you are instead of having your mind in 10 different other to be in 10 different other places.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Also, the last thing I wanted to mention, that the process of expanding your journaling practice, if you want to use drawing, um, it has expanded I guess my compassion for myself and for people who are starting from the beginning.
Mhm.
Because I think, when we get to a point in life where we are good, we feel like we are good at certain things. Um, and we think we're too old to be able to learn something new or to try a different path or to do the or even to the courage to be able to look at things and say that what I've been doing for the last 30, 40 years has not been working. But you've been doing it so long that you just feel like, I might as well just keep on going ahead. And that, I was actually having a conversation with my dad the other day about his own he's almost 70, and talking about his own process with accepting himself as a learner. And he said that he's learned that through looking at me and my life and going out and trying new things. With that, it was surprising because he wasn't always like that.
It's a compliment. That's such a beautiful compliment. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
so one of the things that I said was, as long as you are still learning, you'll never get old.
That's right.
He loved the saying so much that he's working on putting it on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
I
That's
like that.
wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if there's any sort of scientific backing to that at all, but that's just how I feel. As long as there's something new for all of us to learn, we'll never really get old. There's always something new to learn, some new thing to be able to care about, some new activity for us to be able to try. There's always new things for us to be able to learn about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really the point of today, of the journaling exercise. Journaling really sort of helps me to sort of discover new parts of myself. And as I get older, I get more excited about, well, what else? I'll be 47 in May. And so I'm excited about the 50, 60, 70-year-old Halana. What other parts of me are emerging that I need to be able to pay attention to? And what can I start to focus on now, that will help me to get to that point when I am an elder?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. I'll focus for today.
That's a lot. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Thank you.
yeah, Halona, I think that all the things that you're doing now, you're already preparing yourself for,
Yeah.
you know, the coming years.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I hope so.
Well, I mean, I can bear witness to the fact that it's cumulative.
Hmm.
Everything that you're doing now will revisit you, even things that you may have forgotten that you did before
Hmm.
and excelled at
Hmm.
or just wanted to do. It will come to a focal point and it will support you
Hmm.
to be a more evolved goddess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do. Good morning, Missy.
Hi.
Wonderful to see you. Did you have something you wanted to share, or you just wanted to say hello? I can't you're muted.
I just wanted to say hello, and this will help me because I wanted to get out my depression.
Hmm.
Ever since my son died a couple of years ago, I'm in deep depression
Wow, yes.
and my body's falling apart. So I'm just trying to get back into myself.
Hmm.
So I think this helps me a lot to listen to you young ladies this morning. And I get up at 5. Oh, you old people that stay late at night. 5. Get up, get up. Wake up, smell the sunshine, the fresh air. That, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing it, and I'm glad that this can be helpful for you to be able to get back to yourself. That's so important.
I'm trying.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
thank you
went
so
to East
much.
Village, Dr. Sebi, all that.
Hmm.
Still,
Mhm.
I'm trying. All
Yeah,
we
well,
can do is try, right?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, make the effort.
You get up every morning and you make the effort, and
Yes.
it gets
And yes,
better.
I'm going to be journaling and writing and all that stuff. So I'll
Hmm.
be quiet. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I'm so glad to hear from you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad. And sometimes people pop in and out, and you'll see a name, but it's nice to be able to put a face to the name, a name and a face and a personality.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we are at the top of the hour, and so we're going to close now. For the people who are watching the replay of this, you can, if you want to be able to get more information on the writing circle and get notices via email, you can click in the description. The email, you put your name and your email in there, and you will get a reminder every Tuesday, and then an hour before, you'll get an automatic reminder to click the Zoom link to be able to join the group. Also, like, comment, share, subscribe, any thoughts that you had after watching the video today. I'd love to be able to hear what you have to say about any of the exercises that we tried. And if you try anything of these in the future and you want to come back and make a comment, I'd love to be able to hear how this process has worked for you. So thank you so much. I appreciate your presence, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. You
All
too.
right,
All
goodbye.
right. Bye-bye.